Okay, everybody. I don't know exactly the right order to do these things in. By the way, welcome everybody. I just want to go over all of the sports that I'm going to be looking at today. I'm leaving in about 90 minutes or so, but I want to handle the PGA Showdown, LEC, baseball, basketball, and NASCAR. NASCAR is not going to be until 7 p.m. tonight. So we have definitely some time for that, but at least I want to go over what at least what I'm looking at as far as what I'm going to do if the slate we're going to lock now, which it's not going to. The first thing that we have to deal with is the showdown slate with the golf, because they put the projections up, and I think they just went final for round 3. So what we're going to have to do is update all of our projections given the changes in finishing position. And we're going to have to deal with that pretty quickly, because it's noon and the slate is going to lock, I think, in a half an hour. But I've had a lot of luck playing the showdown slate, so I'm going to play it. I am going to play it. So I just want to update the projections, and I'm going to update them on the site. And then I'm going to just finish building my lineups there. Now, again, the way I play Showdown, I don't really care too much about the finishing position. In other words, if I get lineups that have guys that are not rated in the top 2, or that don't rate to win the tournament, I don't worry about it. I just presume that the projections kind of took all that into account. And when I run these things through SaberSim, it also allows you to whatchamacallit. When you run through SaberSim, it allows you to account for ownership and uniqueness and things like that. So that's the first thing that we're doing, is we're going to update the projections from the and I'll do that kind of, I think, on the side, while maybe we talk about other things. And what's cool is that pretty much all of my sources have been really, really good about updating their projections. So I'll be able to do my thing, like aggregate them and then tweak them and things like that, probably in plenty of time. There's one more ownership thing that I have to do, and then I should be ready to go. Pretty good run for Hovland to get into contention. As far as the classic slate goes, I mean, I took a shot, right? I played basically no Koepka and no Rahm. So you know what that means? No good. But that's the way it is. What can I tell you? As you guys know, I gambled on that, and I lost. Sometimes you take a stand and it wins. Sometimes you take a stand and it loses. So that's the way that's going to be. All right. So we're going to rerun this with my handy dandy macro, which does all this kind of on the back end. And then we'll take a look and see what the first we'll see what the just the raw kind of sheets look like. And by the way, we will get to all the sports. I promise you, we will get to all of them before too long. Yeah, so I still look like Cantlay is probably the best play, um, given price and given everything like that. Um, Reed, Hatton are pretty good spend downs. Henley's a decent spend down as well. He's probably getting some ownership. So this is what it's going to look like. Let me update this to the site, and then we'll get back to. Then we'll build, and then we'll start going straight into baseball. Because we want to do baseball, we want to do basketball, we want to do we want to do everything. And if I have time, I'll go over what NASCAR looks like. So to give you an idea of what my builds look like, so here's SaberSim, and this is, you want my process, total process. So we're going to upload my new projections up here into SaberSim, and we're going to build these. And I'm playing a bunch. I'm playing like 50 lineups today, or 40 at least. So I want to take a look and see what these look like. I think it's 40 I'm playing, but let me double check that. And I also have to hand build a signature hole one. So we're going to see what that looks like. So again, here's the order. It's going to be golf. We're doing in chronological order. We're going to do golf because that locks 12:30. And then we're going to do baseball and basketball. And we'll touch on LEC. And then we'll also talk about NASCAR in the last 15 minutes before 1 o'clock locks. So I'm getting a whole bunch of hat in here. And, this comes up all the time. People say, would you limit your exposure or something like that? In Showdown, I think I might. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do max 50% of anybody. In Golf Showdown is really high variance stuff. So we're just going to do max 50%. And there's no, reason for that. So I'm getting some guys that are in the top bunch, some that are not, just hoping for good rounds. And I think it's kind of a good kind of combination of those, especially in MME. So we're just going to replace that's the only change I made. And so we're going to replace my existing lineups with those, and I'll show you exactly how I do that. And then I'm going to think about what I want to do as far as hand-built stuff. So again, for those of you, it's only did 40, so let's change this to 40. So again, for those of you that are just gambling in right now, we are going to go through, again, we're finishing up PGA Showdown because that locks first. Then we're going to get right into baseball and basketball and LEC, all of which locks next. And I'll show you how I build my signature hole. I mean, I can't do the exact thing, but I'll show you what I do. So first I'm going to save some lineup. And I honestly just kind of go with what my sheets kind of tell me. So first we're going to update here. I can't wait to get to baseball because I really, really do like the baseball slate today. I think it's pretty instructive. But let's pull up this, and we'll pull up the Showdown slate, and we'll clear this. And this is going to be the signature hole. So I really am just going to pull up the sheets, and this is really what I do, honestly, is I just kind of gaze at this and see, is there anybody that's going to be low owned that kind of rates high? And I see Lowry looks pretty good. Burns. These are kind of cool guys to throw in here. But I got to see if anybody really stands out. So it does look like Cantlay and Rahm both really do stand out. So I probably want to pick one of them. I imagine Cantlay is going to provide me a little more salary relief. So let's put Cantlay in, and then we'll just kind of try to build Cantlay, maybe Hatton, Reed, Lowry. Let's see what that looks like. We did Cantlay, Hatton. Who did I say? Riley. Who's his name? Hang on. Lowry. Maybe Lowry, Burns, Fleetwood, one of these low-owned guys. Lowry, Burns. This is a pretty. This is like kind of a start, but now we can upgrade a little bit, so we can move up a little bit from these cheaper guys. So instead of Burns or Fleetwood, we could spend 800. So let's see what other low-owned guy we can put up here. Fleetwood is 7,700. We can get up to Hideki, so we could do that. That makes sense. So Fleetwood, we'll go to Hideki. Yeah, it's pretty much would show that. I mean, it is pretty much what you need to do. It is pretty cool. I have neither Kepner nor Rom, so that should be fun, right? Who needs Kepner or Rom? They're only in or Lowry, right? So, excuse me, or Hovland. So we shall see what happens. Okay, so now any questions? Just let me know. But that's literally the way I build my showdown slates, and we'll just see what happens. Okay, baseball. Here we go. Randall's going to come right in with a particular lineup, which I really just can't comment on. You know what I mean? Like every baseball lineup is probably okay, but let's talk about that. For MLB today, this is the way I have this looked at. Okay, so let me pull up just like any lineup, because I'll tell you what I like, and then you can do what you want. All right, so we'll clear this so you don't see exactly what's going on. So for me, my favorite pitcher on this slate, and this is based on my numbers as well, is actually Cutter Crawford, paying all the way down to 5,800. That's going to be. Oh no, I'm talking. I don't mean to beat me. I mean, I just don't know what the rest of the lineup would look like. So head to head. So you're talking about cash, right? Okay. So I will give you cash advice, although I really just don't ever play it. Okay. Rasmussen, I definitely think is a decent cash play. John Gray, I definitely think is a decent cash play as well. I like both of those, so I have no problem with that. But as far as tournaments go, this is the way I'm looking at it. I have Crawford as my number one pitcher, and I have a real big spread underneath. Peralta, Cortez, Rasmussen. Okay, those are that's kind of my main tier. So that's what I would do. And the cool thing is that doesn't look like Crawford's going to be that high owned. I'm like 15%. So I think that's kind of a good way to play tournaments today. Other guys that you can get to, I mean, much lower owned guys like Kopech, I think is fine. Carrasco, he's not that much lower owned. Hunter Brown, not that much lower owned. If you want to take a shot with Matt Boyd at low ownership, I think you could do that as well. Again, that's really, obviously pretty high variance, but he had a very, very good run in the minors, and he was kind of everybody's kind of sneaky play in his first start. And he was good for like 4 innings, and then he got wrecked. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that he's bad, and it doesn't mean that he hasn't improved in the minors. So I think that's pretty good. But overall, I have Crawford number one, then Cortez, Rasmussen, Gray, and Peralta. That's the way I have it. That's the way I have it spread out. With respect to the hitting, I have Tampa rated number one, but I have them being the highest owned. I actually like Texas also, so I have Texas rated pretty high. And the other teams that I like, which are both a function of chances to win and ownership. One of them I'm not playing because of the weather. Houston I like, but that game is legitimately, could have problems. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be around at like 2:15 p.m. to like get confirmation of that. So I'm not going to bother. And that's just the way I play. I don't play the games I have any concern about the weather. There's way too many other games to play. But if you're into it, you get full clearance that the Astros are going to play, then I would go for it. But the kind of low-owned play that I want to just throw out there to you. Look, Tampa looks good. Texas looks good. Philly looks good. I'm going to be a homer here and go for Mets and Yankees. I think those are kind of good low-owned pivots here I'll tell you I'll tell you that in a second, Clay. I kind of want to support the Mets here as a low-owned pivot. So again, if you want to play chalky pitchers, then you could. I really don't advise you to play Tampa. But it's weird. I don't think that there's going to be any pitcher that's that high owned today. So maybe you can get away with playing more Tampa today because you're not really eating that much chalk at pitcher. But I don't know. For me, I just don't like to play chalk stacks. That's the best I could do. Now it's Clay. Now this is very interesting. So this is the way I do it. Okay, and I've been, I always try to do whatever. So I have this stack thing that I start with. Okay, and what I do is I look at it and I say, okay, let's rate them both by raw stack and by modified stack first. And see if it makes much of a difference. So I'm looking at the top group, like Detroit, Tampa, Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, Texas, White Sox, Mets, right? And then when you sort by raw stack, you get Tampa, Texas, Philly, Houston, Mets, Milwaukee. And the one thing I do notice is the Mets are showing up sort of in both. They're not the greatest value in the world, but they're showing up as far as raw stacks go. And what's also cool is on a slate like this, where you don't have to pay that much for pitching. And this is what people ask all the time, like how to use my sheets and how to use my stacks page, is that if you don't have to worry about pitching salaries, then you could just go ahead and sort by raw stack. Okay. If you have to worry about paying up for big, 11K pitchers, for example, then you have to start sorting by value and modified. But here on a slate like this, where I'm probably going to play Crawford and other, relatively low price guys, you could just short by raw stack. And the way I do it is, quite honestly, I look at this and I say, okay, all these guys look pretty similar as far as stack goes. So who are the lowest owned of these? And I just see Houston, Mets, Yankees. And for today, I'm like, who do I prefer, Yankees, Mets, or Houston? Well, Houston, I have concerns about the weather, so I just pick the Mets. And that's really what I do. With respect to analyzing the pitching, then I take the whole projection page, right? So like the whole projection page right here, and you'll see, by the way, the Badoo at 2K is obviously a good sort of cash, one-off there. But I just kind of look and see how they're rated. And honestly, I have Crawford rated kind of, higher than all these other guys. And he's half the ownership. So these kind of all go hand in hand. Like the fact that I like the cheaper pitcher means that I don't have to worry about value as far as the hitting goes. And so these things kind of go together for me. Okay. And with respect to the MME stuff, I just basically, what I do is I put it all into SaberSim, I build it, and then make sure that the stacks are kind of pure. I have 5-mans and things like that. And then I'll kind of tweak a little bit based on my projections. Like I'll give myself a little more, like if I didn't get any Yankees or Mets, I'll force some in, if I got, 80% of like Tampa, I'll probably force them out. That's just the way I kind of play baseball. Now let's go take a look at FanDuel. And again, for those of you here early or here late, we already did a PGA Showdown, and then we are now going to deal with baseball. And then after that, we're going to do basketball and LAC, and then we're going to talk then about NASCAR, and then we're going to call this a day. Let's look at FanDuel real quick, and let's see. FanDuel, as far as pitching goes, you could play Crawford there as well. But here, Carrasco is good. Walker is good. Peralta is probably really good also. So any of these guys, and I pay down for pitching more than most people do on FanDuel, but all 4 of these guys look decent. Crawford, Carrasco, Walker, and Peralta. And then as far as stacks go, there's going to be no issues with value. I mean, you could get in whatever you want. So, let's take a look at these. Like, who do you want to play? Well, these guys kind of are a little bit higher than all the others. So between Tampa, Philly, and Texas is the lowest owned. So I would kind of just go with Texas. You see the Mets, again, they're just below them at lower ownership. So I like that. Yankees, Milwaukee. So these are the guys I would focus on GPPs. Mets, Milwaukee, Yankees. Houston, we have weather issues. And then Texas. And I do the same thing with respect to the to hand building on FanDuel, just as I said on DraftKings. So on FanDuel, I'm actually going to end up with, I believe, some combination of actually there I'm playing Texas and I'm probably doing a complimentary with the White Sox just because of ownership over there. That's actually kind of neat. So Texas, White Sox. See the reason why the White Sox, look at the White Sox. Check this out. When you rate them here, they're only a couple of points below these guys, and they're the lowest owned of this whole group. So that's why I have no problem taking a shot with guys like this. Okay. The annoying thing is that I'm not playing Anderson because I'm playing Texas alongside of it, and I prefer Seager to Anderson, which is a little annoying. But I'll still have the 2, 3, 4, 5 from the White Sox. All right. I guess we have to deal with the NBA. Somebody posted a really, really cool sheet in the Discord channel, which basically highlighted which teams need to play for something and which teams don't. And that's really helpful. Now, again, the projections are probably supposed to account for that, but because it has minutes projections. But it is important to know that Minnesota really needs to win. The Lakers could use a win. Golden State could use a win, whatever. And the Pelicans and everybody else is basically playing for nothing. And that's some pretty useful advice with respect to today. Now, the other thing I will tell you about today, and this is pretty cool, I guess, is that you're going to get like insanely good like value scores on all of the players, okay, regardless of price. And you're going to find projected guys that are like 3K or whatever that are going to be projecting for an incredible number of fantasy points. And what that means is that it's possible. I mean, I have to run some more, but I'll do it right now. Actually, I'm going to run another projection update, and I'm wondering if we're going to end up getting lineups with like 5,000 left on the table. I didn't run it yet, but I'm going to do it literally right now. The thing is that I would not argue with it. Okay, that would be my advice. Not that I would, I'm not going to put a minimum. I'm not going to put a maximum. I'm not going to force myself to leave money on the table. All right, but I definitely will not, argue if I'm getting, if I'm getting lineups like that. So one thing about SaberSim is that SaberSim defaults by, I think 49,000 or something like that as a minimum. So what you do want to do is make sure to eliminate that. So let me just rerun the projections. I'll show you what I mean with respect to where the sheet's value scores can look like. Hold on. And this is like literally behind the scenes stuff, and we're doing it pretty quickly, and we're doing it with a little bit of crunch time, right? Because we're all locking pretty soon here, but we got plenty of time, I think. Yeah, I mean it's 12:20, and we blasted through Showdown. We blasted through that. Okay, so let's now run. We'll run a projection update from my end here. Just make sure that we're covering everything. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. And then after we do this, then we'll talk about maybe some, we'll talk about some LEC maybe, which is going to be really boring. But I did promise the people that were in the LEC forum that I would touch on it. It's going to be really, really boring. But I'm just basically playing the chalk over there. If I play at all. Who am I kidding? All right, so let's see. Get there. Sometimes the macro is a little testy. Oh, there it goes. So let's see what my sheets look like now. And then I'll show you the little tweaks that I would make. Now, again, I didn't do FanDuel today. Just can't do anything. Yeah, so look at some of these value scores. Like, this is pretty nuts, right? 300. You never see anything like this. I mean, you get Cam Thomas projected for 38 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? So you're going to have to just be very, very, you have to visualize lineups with like insane amount of money left on the table, I think. So like, for example, let's see what, wait, hold on. Let me put these projections up here, which are pretty sick. People are projected for like 15x, like it's nothing. Hold on, let me update the projections first. I definitely believe that whoever wins this slate today should get like a bonus. If you win this slate with like all scrubs, whatever it is, I mean, you definitely deserve some kind of bonus. 5,700 left over. Yeah, that sounds about right. Let's just see. So we're gonna build here, and I'd be very surprised if we don't. So Cam Thomas, we are playing him. Cam Thomas, apply this, and we're going to build with. So Curry's going to play. Davis and AD are both going to play. I promise you, they're going to play. Hold on, we're going to 4. I originally built 40 lineups, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. Oops. Lineups. Min salary, we're going to put, literally 40,000. Just 40,000. Max exposure 70 for today. I usually don't do that, but there's just such wide variance today that you just don't want to get locked in anybody. Let's see. Let's see what these lineups would look like. Now, again, this is going to require a lot of tweaking, a lot of nonsense, but we shall see. Okay. Let's see what we got. Wow, look at these. What are these $50,000 lineups here? Oh, because you're getting all this LeBron and AD in. Oh my goodness gracious. I cannot believe that that's what they're doing. They're giving me all the studs. So I'm really not getting these lineups with all the. You want to know why? Because Minnesota has to win. They're going to play their guys. And the other thing is that one thing to consider is that both, my son and I were going over this stuff about like the teams that need to win. And not only there are several teams that need to lose that are playing each other, but also teams that need to win are playing each other. So Memphis is playing, not Memphis, New Orleans is playing Minnesota, right? I think all the stars are probably going to be in, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, so that's definitely something I didn't consider. Let's save these lineups for now. And again, I will just say that, this is a very play this slate at your own risk. That's the best I can describe this. This is definitely the most impossible. The one thing that's good about it, okay, here's the one thing that's good about it, is that there's like a zillion games that all start at 1 o'clock at least. That's good. So like they say, this they got that going for them. Just want to do one other thing with respect to the. Well, it's too late anyway for Showdown. Golf Showdown. 30 seconds. No, so that's going to be good. So I'm curious to see how ownership comes in with the Showdown slate. We'll look at that in a minute. All right. As far as LEC goes, I tried to play the underdog, but I couldn't do it. So I'm gonna play really bad today. I do like both favorites. I'm just kind of scrambling some lineups and hope that somehow I get a unique one. It's gonna be very difficult to do, and it's probably stupid to play today. When you really do like both favorites and best 3 out of 5s, it's probably better to not play. But because we're playing everything else, we're just going to play it. It's best. Sorry about that explanation, but that's what we're doing. What is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, so let's take a look real quick, and then at NASCAR, I guess. Let me just see let me see how tight my NASCAR projections were, and if I have to redo them or not.
Have your car.
Yeah.
The food.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think I do want to tighten up the NASCAR projections here. So what we're going to do is, let me just see if I did. There's like one model I hadn't run yet, so let me just look at it. And I'm going to look at this again later. But just to finish off what I said I was going to do. 1, 2. Oh, okay, so there's one more set that I have to do. So I'm going to unshare my screen for a minute. And while I do that, if you want, why don't you go ahead and fire off any questions literally about any sport that's going on, and I'll be more than happy to attempt to answer it. There are a couple of nights, by the way, next week I'm not going to be around. If you care, probably Tuesday and Thursday. Definitely Tuesday. Yeah, so we have. I wish. So Brandon's not around. Otherwise, I would have done a lineup build, I think, with him. But you know what? I got a little bit of time. I'm going to do actually, and I think that's the last thing I want to do. But I'll still take questions. I'm going to do one projection update for NASCAR. I'm not going to do hockey today. I'm just not hockey. I'm not going to do hockey anyway. But I'm not going to do Where's auto racing? Auto racing ownership. I'm not. There's only like a 2-game hockey slate I think tonight. I don't think I'm playing that. What I was going to say is I'm not playing FanDuel NASCAR. Looks like Larson is going to be pretty chalky. But let me just. And I'll show you. And again, by the way, I build to answer what's going to be Clay's question. Ooh. Wait, what is this? To answer what I think is going to be Clay's question, I build the hand builds, what you call it, NASCAR lineups using my sheets the same way as I hand build pretty much everything else. But we're gonna right now update the projections. It'll take like not even a minute. Let me see. Yeah, we're not doing NASCAR. We're not doing FanDuel. Okay. 4. Boom. Boom. And what I'll do is with this one I will show you the I will show you the sheets for this. Not a big deal. Yeah, I don't know yet, Clay. I haven't figured it out how to use it to my advantage. I really haven't. I'm right now. I'm using it more to sweat, sort of to see what lineups are live. It is pretty revealing in that I definitely need to get much more unique in the sports where I need to get unique, if that makes any sense. So I guess that's something I'd like to. So that is definitely a revelation. I don't know exactly how to use it to make me better though, but it's definitely very useful as I guess that is in and of itself useful, right? Anything that's revealing definitely will help you get better. You just have to figure out how to make those changes. All right, so let's take a look and see what the sheets look like for NASCAR. Um, yeah. So the thing is that although Larson is like going to be really highly owned, he's just such an edge over everybody else here that I'm just going to probably end up having to lock him in. It's just the way it's going to be. What I do like are these kind of cheapos that are not that high owned, like Josh Berry, Davenport, whoever that is, Chris Buescher at 10%. Um, whoa, this is weird. I thought that I was going to end up with a bunch of Ryan Preece, but it looks, boy, oh boy, 27% ownership. I mean, it's enough that I'm actually going to double check and make sure that I didn't miss anything. Let me just see something. No, I mean, it's the way it is. Oh, I know. I forgot one source. Crap. Okay, wait. I got to do one more thing. I know I didn't do one thing, and I hope it doesn't change anything dramatically. I don't think it will, but let's just take a look. There's one more model that I have to incorporate, which is actually really important, which I'm going to do that in a sec. Okay, let's see if this changes anything. I don't think it will. And we'll build this. We'll enter lineups, and I'll be back later to what's going to happen is probably when I'm sweating the end of the Masters. I'll finalize the whatchamacallit lineups, the NASCAR lineups. I like the NASCAR is going to be like the late night hammer. Like when all your other stuff's dead, then you can sweat NASCAR in the dirt track. I love that. All right, so let's see if this makes a difference. All right, NASCAR. Let's see if it makes a difference. Probably not. Yeah, so the one guy that bumped up was the Daniel Suarez. All right, I figured this was going to be a little bit different. Something seemed off. So Larson still looks like a really, really good play. But the Suarez he's the one that stepped up here. Okay. All right. I knew something looked off. So Larson looks still like the best play. But then there's kind of all these other guys you can deal with. So Chris Buescher, 17% on it like that. This Davenport, again, how to deal with this. Ty Dillon, 12%. Right, that's not bad. I don't think you can play both Christopher Bell and Larson. So let's deal with it. Let's do a Saberson build. Then we're going to do a hand built one, and then we're going to enter that. Then we're going to get out of here. I think. Let's just see. But then we're going to look at a little bit of ownership, maybe. Let's see, NASCAR. Okay. And I'm not gonna limit my exposure in NASCAR because again, if I get Larson locked in from the pole, I'll do it. I really will. I have no problem with that. I get nervous with the guys in the back though. When those get locked in, those place differential plays. Look at this, 65% Suarez. Oh, I like that. Oh, because he's 34th. Okay, I guess this makes sense. It's a little dangerous at 66% ownership to play guys like this, but we're just probably going to roll with it. 66% Daniel Larson. What could go wrong, right? And we are going to obviously take another look at this. as we get closer. I cannot believe all these guys that are questionable or these guys that are out for the NBA. So let's maybe we'll build the hand-built one later. Yeah, you know what? We'll build it now. We can always change it later, right? Let me see. 12:39. Oh, plenty of time. Okay. So again, we'll do the same thing. We'll get to the NASCAR, we'll get to the hand build, and then we will just see what's up. All right. So according to the sheets, we'll pull it up here. Larson and Suarez basically were ahead of most people. So we're going to play these guys and probably Kozlowski too, because you have a decent drop. So let's start with Larson, Suarez, Kozlowski, and then we have to get different. So we're going to see how to do that. This is pretty cool. You know, we got Sky at the front, two guys at the back, and we have $7,800 to play with, where we want to get a mix of decent plays without a lot of ownership. So Chris Buescher and Josh Berry, these guys fit the bill. And this Davenport dude, man, if I can get away with this, or Chastain. So let's see how many of these we could put in. If we could play Buescher, and then Buescher, Davenport, Dillon. If you played Buescher and if you played Davenport, then you could spend up for something like Chastain even, if you wanted to do that. So how about we start with Buescher? Okay, so let's put him in. We don't care where they are in the field right now because we have a lot of so 77.50 left, so we need two low-owned guys. We could play, how much we have left? 15.5. I mean, we could play Dillon and another high-price guy if we wanted. Like a sort of low-owned Christopher Bell. Like almost. You can almost do that. If you wanted to play Ty Dillon. So like, for example, if you played, that's really asking for it, but if you want to play Ty Dillon, or you could play William Byron, who's probably, boy, who's going to play him? Well, where is he even? I mean, it's not the greatest play in the world, but I've played worse. You could play Briscoe, you can get to him. Play Kyle Busch. It's kind of a unique little build here. To play these guys. But this is a little scary. I'd like to get one guy kind of in the middle. Okay, but Briscoe is kind of a guy that fits that build, So you play Briscoe and Dillon. That's actually not bad. So we're going to save that one for now. Okay, so now let's go and take a look at how ownership kind of came in on the showdown. Let's see what that looks like. I'm a little nervous. Let's see how these showdown. 5%. Yeah, Cantley came in 40%. Hideki 30%. All these guys came in pretty high owned. But you have Finau in there. Let me look at my big one. Let me see how much ownership came in on the big one. And then probably going to get out of here. Let's see. Signature hole. Let's see what we have. This isn't bad. Look at this. We got a couple of low-owned dudes. You got Burns and Lowry, both under 10%. These other guys are chalk, but this isn't bad. I think I'm kind of happy with the way I did this. Next thing I want to do is, should I make one more look at the NBA and just see if anything really changed? I mean, no one's ruled out. I mean, all these guys are questionable, but this guy's playing, right? Yeah, he's probable at 3K. It's 3:30 p.m. I probably should take another look a little bit later. But, Cam Thomas. You don't usually play LeBron and AD together, but you can afford it. You know what I mean? You can get all these you can get all these raw points in there, especially in a game they'd like to win. So we will see. So again, let me just double check what I have here. So NBA, I have nobody out. I always have to check to make sure I have nobody out. MLB, let me make sure everybody's playing. Looks like everybody's playing. Yeah, everybody's playing there. Let me make sure that I always make sure I put my lineups in. NASCAR lineups are in. Oh, we missed LEC. Oh, LEC started already? Oh, wow. I didn't even notice. Let's see what happened. All right, so game one, BDS got off to a good win. All right, good. Good start. Good start. I'm sorry about that. I thought that started at 1 o'clock. I apologize. I thought we had a little bit of time. We'll do it next time. And I'm still going to do a live sweat of LOL. I don't know exactly how it's going to possibly work considering the time, but I'm going to do it just, for something to do. All right. So all that's left is honestly sweating showdown, sweating baseball. You have to make probably some changes in the NBA at 3:30, but I'm probably not going to be around to do that. And then NASCAR, the late night hammer to get all your money back from the weekend. And that's it. I'm actually going to play a little golf myself with my son, who's home for the weekend. We're going to come back and sweat a little bit of the Masters, and that'll do it. So from 12 to 12:45, we got through PGA Showdown, MLB, NBA, NASCAR, and you saw me build all of my lineups, and I can't do any better than that, except maybe win. Let's see. All right, that'll do it. Good luck, everybody, and I'll see you during the course.